Okay, so finally I get to show you how to go GRX. So I'm doing, I think so far, a top-end GRX. If you haven't seen my video on the mechanical GRX on the Explorer, then it should be somewhere here if I can do the cards. But if not, just look for it in the playlist. It will be there. But long story short, I run two of these 8-speed Diverges for my daughters, and as you can see possibly from the cobwebs on them, that they are left out quite a lot in the rain, and they have been ridden for 2 years without any problems whatsoever, apart from one thing. The front derailleur has all but seized. They stopped working properly a few months after use. The rear just keeps changing gear. Okay, sometimes it gets a little bit out of step and it will drop a gear, etc. But if it does, they just put it back on and don't use the top gear. Obviously, when you drop the front derailleur, it usually gets stuck in a way that they can't put it back in, etc. And they just don't need or use or see a need for the front derailleur. Rear gears, very easy to get. Front is a pain. There's all this cabling that you can't see, but I'll show you at the front, which is just a mess. This really is a bit of a bee's nest of cabling. It's just barrel adjusters on everything, and even I think on some of them the barrel adjusters, or at least on one of them, is the cable has fallen out of the barrel adjuster, so it doesn't work. Water gets in there. I'll show you the ends of all these barrel adjusters. They're just rusty as anything. Just not an ideal setup. Adjusters on these cables. Water gets in, it gets rusty, the cables stick, whatever it's controlling stops working. It's not ideal. So we're going one by, and the reason we are doing that is for simplicity and ease of maintenance, because most people want a simple use of a bike. I won't make any comment on my daughters there, and I have to maintain them mostly. So the way we're doing this is actually very, very easy, because the Shimano, Sora, Claris and Tiagra group sets are very, very, very similar. So in order to make this 8-speed into a 10-speed GRX, either 2x or 1x, is all we really need is to get ourselves either 1 or 2 of these levers. Now here's a 2 kit that I'm going to use for one of them, but I also did get from Decathlon just one of the levers, and that's the right hand lever. And I then got this rather nice GRX rear derailleur, which I'll open in a minute and show you, but it is a lot nicer than the sort of Claris one that came with it. And the reason for that is that it is a step up. The GRX is based on sort of Ultegra level at the top, all the way down to probably 105 level or something like that. It's a really good kit. But the other thing is it has a much bigger range, so it will go up to a 46, I think, quite easily, which makes 1x very easy, but also makes all sorts of 2x and other setups are just a lot easier to have a wider range and get to more places without having to fiddle. But it also has a clutch, which means with the 1x conversion I'm doing, I'm getting rid of the problem at the front, but any sort of most of the cable drop problems at the back were from them sort of going off of curbs and things like that, which should hopefully be minimized with the clutch. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people get a bit upset when they think about you just changing one, and obviously what I couldn't live with is one Dura Ace and one Ultegra, or even one Ultegra and one 105, one Force, one Rival. However, with these Shimano gears in the Claris, Sora and Tiagra, I think I'm getting this right, But basically in the 8-speed, the current 8-speed, 9-speed and 10-speed gears, this part really does not change. There is, you can see here, a tiny little logo which is way less, it's about 2 centimeters, way less than an inch long, and about half a centimeter high. That's, what is it, I don't know, less than a quarter of an inch, eighth of an inch, even almost close, high. And it has both Shimano and the words Claris or Tiagra in there. Honestly, I mean, unless you're really paying attention and you look at this side and then look at that side, look at this side and look at that side, you can't tell the difference. Some of the hoods are just a little bit nicer, but you can change the hoods if you really, really need to. But you know, quite often, I mean, how much do you even look at the hoods, right? Hoods are a disposable item. So, I'm not going to do this in this video. I'm going to do it in the next video because I've got 2 bikes to convert. But I will show you a bit more closely how similar these are right now, and then I'll do in another video how well they go and a bit of a comparison. So let's get on with that. And okay, so welcome back to my outside office, and you can now see or hear why I have the awning, because it is now raining. But here we have the old Claris bars, we have the new Tiagra shifter, we have something from one of my daughters, we have the old, you have to read these to remember, Claris shifters, and the new GRX rear shifter. And I'm going to show you how we upgrade this and just how similar everything is. Or in the case of the derailleur, how different they are, because this is just a much nicer piece of kit than Claris. Some ferrules, some lovely packaging. And here we have the rear derailleur. Now, there's a lot of things nice about this. One of them, let's hold it like that, and hold this one like this. Still the same sort of shadow setup, etc. But obviously you can see this one is a lot longer in the, it's got a lot longer cage, but crucially, I don't know if you can see in there, but it has a much more powerful spring which will aid in the off-roading, but more important than that, it has a clutch mechanism which quite often I forget to turn on, but with a strong stronger spring it doesn't always matter that much. So this is just a lot nicer. I don't know how to get that over to you in a video, but it just feels and is generally a lot nicer. Now, I didn't get the GRX level shifters for 2 reasons, because you can get 10-speed GRX, but I did actually want this experiment to kind of work. And basically, I wanted these to be interchangeable and show you just how interchangeable they are. Literally 10-speed, 8-speed, and in between there is a 9-speed version, but literally there is a slight difference in the hood material. The 8 and the 9-speed have this kind of design for a hood. The 10-speed has a slightly nicer hood design. So those of you who are not even looking to upgrade to 10-speed but just want some nicer hoods, get the Tiagra hoods. But honestly, I don't know if you can see just how similar they are. And a lot of people tell me I couldn't ride, my OCD would not allow me to ride with a different setup. Well, if your OCD, we've now got the hurricane arriving, if your OCD is that bad, well then no, you can't. And I do get it, I wouldn't be able to ride, as I said before, a Force and Rival, or even if they were, you know, mechanically the same. I've got a little Robin over there, but these literally, there is so little difference. You have to go around one side go around the other side, go around one side and go around the other 20 times, and even I still, after you've seen the palaver that I've done to try and put this together, still cannot remember which one's which. I have to look in the package to realise which one's which. So there you go. If you do want to upgrade to 10-speed, 1x or GRX on your gravel to get the super rear derailleur, then you can do so obviously by getting the full GRX, and that is a very nice piece of kit which you shall see from my race max shortly. However, it is not that removed. There are levels you can go down. You can obviously go and buy these GRX shifters for the 10-speed, or you can buy the 11-speed, has 2 levels. This rear derailleur is the 400 level. 400 is the lowest. There's then a 600, which I think is 105 sort of equivalent, and then there's the 800, which is kind of Tiagra equivalent. But yeah, they are. There are various levels. I'm going to have the top level on my top gravel bike. I'm going to have my daughter's bikes, which I do sometimes use on the trainer when I can't be bothered swapping over. But yeah, I'm then going to have, I probably won't put an intermediate level on Project Negroni. I'll just go to the top, but it still gives you a nice feel for how different they are. And honestly, Shimano does not make a bad group set at the moment. They really are all very, very nice. The difference is obviously there are serious limitations for off-roading on the non-clutch derailleur systems, and for me the only thing that has ever failed, either with my daughters, both in the simplicity of riding and getting your gears right, and the maintenance, plus also myself when I've been on long epics on mountain bikes or on road bikes, the only thing that has ever failed, or even in racing, in triathlons, the only thing that has ever dropped and created a mechanical where I have to stop has been the front derailleur. So very, very cheap, sort of $50, £50, €50 upgrade. These two together were, I think, just under 100. You can get, no, it's about £80. I got one of these for another bike, the right-hand shifter, for £30, £35 from Decathlon. Obviously you'll have to upgrade your cassette and your chain as well, but you don't need to upgrade the front, because 2x is 2x, right? So you can run, as long as your minimal OCD will allow you, a 8-speed on the front, 10-speed on the back, and everything will work fantastically. And it is a very, very good upgrade to do to your gravel bike if